Amani Talks has a message for the ladies. Amani Talks, frequent visitor on this channel for saying nonsense, but let's hear what she has to say for the ladies today. Fair use.
You don't submit to a boyfriend, sis. Any man who is not a God-led man should never even be talking about submission because you aren't submitting to God. Submission is not the cause of your relationship. Submission is the effect. A man is leading you under godly authority, and so you submit. You don't submit to get the man. It's not like, oh, I submit, and because I'm submissive, I will get a husband. No, you should never be submissive to no man that did not marry you. I don't care if that's your baby daddy. He didn't marry you. You don't submit to your boyfriend. He didn't marry you. I don't care how long y'all been living together. You don't do what that man says. You do what God says and what your dad say. You don't.
Okay. Oh, did I forget to mention she's from ATL? Atlanta, man. Paul Mooney had a joke where he said, if God doesn't burn down LA, he owes Sodom and Gomorrah an apology or whatever. He said something to that tune. I believe that with Atlanta. If he doesn't burn down ATL, you know what I mean? No respectfully, but if he don't burn down ATL, he owe LA and Sodom and Gomorrah an apology. She says, don't submit to a man. Hold on for a second. Let me bring out my wallet. I got this verse since she wants to bring up, Sky Daddy, the flying spaghetti monster. Hopefully nobody takes offense to that, but let's bring up her religion real quick. Got 1 Corinthians 14 verses 34 through 35. Women should remain silent in the churches. They are not allowed to speak, but must be in submission as the law says. Verse 35. If they want to inquire about something, they should ask their own husbands at home, for it is disgraceful for a woman to speak in the church. Now it says 1 Timothy 2 verses 11 through 15. It says a woman should learn in quietness and full submission. I do not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man. She must be quiet. Verse 13. For Adam was formed first, then Eve. Verse 14. And Adam was not the one deceived. It was the woman who was deceived and became a sinner. Verse 15, but women will be saved through childbearing if they continue in faith, love, and holiness with propriety. Basically, the Bible's telling you to shut the fuck up. But you have a podcast, you know what I mean? You have rights, you can talk, you know what I mean? You're in America, you know what I mean? So it kind of gives you, you live in Atlanta, an ungodly city, mind you, since she wants to bring up the flying spaghetti monster. But anyway, this is her background, and she's telling women to not submit to their man. But I'll say this is usually the advice that black women give to other black women. So this is why the disconnect, you know what this is where, the disconnect comes. People are like, man, what is wrong with some of the BWs? Where are they getting their advice from? People like Amani. And then when you look at the background of Amani, and then where she's from, ATL, and then on top of that, when you look at her history, she self-admittedly, she said she had a great man before, and she just decided to move on from him. And she's looking for a better man. She said he did nothing wrong and blah, blah, blah. Did everything right. But she still ended it. She said she had a good man and she still ended it. And I'm like, these are the people y'all taking y'all advice from? Like, I remember this one white girl. What's this one white woman that I usually do some videos on her. I remember she had said, she had said that she divorced a good man. He did nothing wrong, but I divorced him because I can't. Why am I not allowed to move on? And I'm like, and y'all taking relationship into like divorce. This bitch is telling you to leave your man for what? And meanwhile, she self-admittedly left a good man. And people wonder why the confusion, where the disconnect is coming from. Anyways, let's replay what she had to say. She said, you don't submit to your man. So clearly I can tell maybe she was answering a question that somebody had gave to her in the live stream. I don't know.
Submit to a boyfriend, sis. Any man who is not a God-led man should never even be talking about submission because you aren't submitting to God.
Well, that's the thing too. Black women are very like, quote unquote, spiritual. So they like to bring up, Sky Daddy when it conveniences them, but then they skip over what's that verse again? Hold on for a second. First Timothy 2 verses 11 through 15. Then I bring that up. And then they try, oh, that was a different time. No, it's in the Bible. It's in your Bible that you stand on, right? But that's a whole other story. God, they'll always be talking about God this, God that, God this, and then it'd be a female preacher. I'm like, but it literally states in your book that it's not allowed. Gay choir directors in the church. It's this is why people don't really take black women seriously on when it comes to relationship advice. And then on top of that, when they start bringing, the flying spaghetti monster into this, then it kind of, then that's when we start losing traction. This is where we start losing the grip on reality and trying to find any excuse for women to not obey their man. And I'm talking about any excuse. Any excuse. I don't want no, because we already know with black women, I don't want no man telling me what to do, all this nonsense. So that's really what it is. But they're trying to put God there. No, I only obey God first. No, you. Anyway.
Submission is not the cause of your relationship. Submission is the effect. A man is leading you under godly authority, and so you submit. You don't submit to get the man. It's not like, oh, I submit, and because I'm submissive, I will get a husband. No, you should never be submissive to no man that did not marry you. I don't care that.
Well, I'll say this. At the end of the day, they're just, even like you'll see in churches in general, they'll say something like, ladies, you need to let your man lead you. And even that language in and of itself, it's very, that language in itself is, it's like a backhanded type of compliment. You know what I mean? I don't know what the word is, right? It's very disingenuous wordplay. It's almost like saying, "Oh, I know women, you could do it by yourself, but you gotta let your husband do it." Like just that language in and of itself is. I used to hear that growing. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. It's first of all, it's the man leads, bottom line, and the woman is supposed to help that man in whatever he needs to help, in terms of, you need to help your man be the best leader as possible, not by telling him what to do, but just helping him in whatever he needs so he can lead. So all this, you're letting him lead. No. He's the leader, bottom line. And then you're his lieutenant. That's it. He's the president. You're, what's it, the Secretary of Defense, whatever, right? You want to say vice president? He runs the nation. You run the house. Bottom line. That's it. That's what it is. It's supposed. That's what you would think in theory, right? Particularly women, or I'll say particularly black women, have really perverted the scriptures in where they're using anything and anything possible to where they don't have to listen to a man. What they call it, Christian feminism, right?
That's your baby daddy. He didn't marry you. You don't submit to your boyfriend. He didn't.
Well, and then she brings up that point, but I'm like, for you to have the baby by the man, you already submitted, so you might as well keep submitting. Oh, I'm not going to submit to you, but I'm going to keep your kid. What kind of shit is this? What are we doing, man? This is why low-key the black community. This is why the black community is cooked in general, and Africans and Caribbean people are not exempt from that either. But I'm just saying, this is why just the community in general is just, it's cooked. It's cooked. Shout out to CJ. Shout out to CJ. I got that from him. Community, right? But that's why it's cooked.
Marry you. I don't care how long y'all been living together. You don't do what that man says. You do what God says and what your dad say. You don't.
But if you're already up under him for years and he didn't marry you, you're already submitting to his will anyway. Him actually asking to marry you. It's technically him submitting to you as a woman. So everything that she described is the woman. If the man has gone years without marrying you and you're already having his kids and blah blah blah, you're already submitting to him so much, like you're overly submitting to him with your actions already. I'm talking about you're already doing it. But like I said, this is Amani's talks. Who we're talking about here. This is just the typical broad. This is the typical or BW that a lot of black men have really been trying to distance, themselves from. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, you would never catch me dead with an Amani Talks type, character. That you know what I mean? But yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section.